Hey there, I'm Eric and I'm one of the co-founders here at Freshline, and I want to make a video in regards to who our members are, because we had a lot of questions on the application calls around membership, like what will I fit in with the guys, am I in the right group, am I surrounding myself with the right people. So I'm going to give you a bit of a cross-section of like who our guys are, and then you can decide for yourself whether that makes sense, whether it's a good fit. I also apologize a little bit in advance. I'm driving through the Rockies right now, which is where I live, and I'm on a bit of a rough back road. So camera's gonna shake, but try and pay attention to the audio and not let the shaky camera dissuade you. So when it comes to our guys, really common patterns in our guys. First is it's all guys. We don't take any women in the club. If you are a woman, you're happen to watch this video, there's a separate side of Freshline called We Roam. That's for the girls. Go check that out. But Freshline is a men's club, and it's a men's club first and foremost. We're here to support each other as guys going through life. And if you're looking for just an opportunity to go and ride far off places, nothing inherently wrong with that, but just know that we're gonna suck you into online calls outside of the expeditions. We're going to invite you to rides in your local area. We have members all over the world, but a good chunk of our guys, probably 70%, are still sitting, maybe 60% now, are sitting in Canada and the US. As far as age goes, we have a pretty decent spread, which I think is really healthy, because I at least appreciate learning from a lot of the older guys that have more experience in the calls about life, about how to address business, family, kids, partner issues, all of that stuff. So most of our guys sit, I would say, between late 20s to mid 50s, and there's a few outliers on either side of that, but that's generally where most of our guys sit age-wise. I would say the majority of our guys are, the vast majority are entrepreneurs. They run their own businesses, which is also super cool, because a lot of guys can kind of share what they've learned through business, running their own business, strategy, things that have helped them. Another thing that's pretty relevant to that is most of our guys are somewhere on the spectrum when it comes to ADD, ADHD. And so that it permeates through all of life. I mean, I'm on that spectrum as well, for sure. Diagnosed ADHD, and being able to run a very effective business while having ADHD is totally possible. I think what is really clear with our guys is they don't make an excuse for the ADHD. They just say, hey, that's part of who I am, and they figure out ways to leverage that. And they don't call themselves a victim and say, hey, it's too hard to make life work, make business work because I've got this thing. A lot of them tend to run very, very successful businesses alongside having ADHD. Another really important factor is our guys are, for the most part, family guys. They have families, they have kids, and family is really, really important to them. That is one of their top priorities in life, is to make sure that they're taking care of their family, which is why they fit well with this group, because on our calls, a lot of our conversations really are more about family and how we show up as good husbands and fathers, and far less of it is related to moto. So that's definitely an important piece. Alongside that, and this might sound like the same thing, is the fact that our guys have a very high moral code, and they set high standards for themselves, generally speaking. We all fall short of standards at various points, but they do their very best to set a bar for themselves and try and hold themselves to it. But because they know they fall short, and I say because we all know we fall short, the calls that we do give a certain degree of accountability to just being better when we do fall down, and having guys around you to pick you up when you stumble. So that's another key element there. And then, of course, what you'd think I would lead with, but I would actually say is almost the least important piece here, is the fact that all these guys have a love for moto, and especially moto adventure. And so all of our guys are looking to see, how do they balance family, business, life. Often a lot of these guys are involved in their communities, and and still live a life of big adventure, and going to these far off places that we go to and exploring the world and doing that on a motorbike. And at the same time, while we're doing that, because these guys, they're all really good guys, we pair those moto expeditions with missions. And so we'll go, the regions that we go into, we want to make sure we're having a positive impact while we're there. One of the big philosophies for Freshline is making sure that we leave every person, every environment better than we found it. And that's what we're trying to do with the guys in the club. That's what we're trying to do with the people that we interact with when we do go overseas. And that's also what we're trying to do in the environments that we're in, making sure that we're not destroying things, we're actually leaving them better than we found them. So I think most of those guys, or most of our guys, I should say, share that philosophy and really buy into it. And it's the guys themselves that make this club amazing, that really bring a lot of those cool ideas to the table in terms of what we can do in some of the places we go to, and then make it a reality out of their own volition. So that is kind of the cross section of a Freshline member. If that sounds like you, and you're interested in applying to the club, going through assessment, all of that, there's gonna be a link in our bio that you can check out. All right, cool. Might see you on the other side.